Stuff.
Yes, that's cash flow also.
It's part of cash flow. Flowing, it is like a river. The lake supplies the river, and the river maybe supplies another lake or a dam somewhere. So your business is like that. Money is always flowing. It flows in and flows out. The things that bring in your money should technically be more than the things that are taking it. Or the things that are bringing in money should be contributing more money than the money that is leaving. So our job is to make sure more money is coming in than the money that is leaving.
Okay, let's go to the heart of the subject. That having understood, in fact, for me, the takeaway is the word. It's in the word flow. In,
out,
and out.
Yes,
makes sense.
Yes.
What decisions around cash flow might prove dangerous to my business, especially if I'm a startup and an SME? Let's just bring it down to startups and SMEs. What decision? After the short break, and when we went away, the conversation was still hot on avoiding dangerous cash flow decisions you should avoid in business. And Regan, my guest, told us that cash flow is money in and money out. In there can be problems that you make decisions. We have already seen 2 issues, and we are going to see the third. And Regan Kauma is my guest and is a small business growth strategist, in case you are just joining us. And we're discussing dangerous cash flow decisions you should avoid in your business. Regan, you are giving us the third problem. Around cash flow.
Yes. So the third major problem that I typically see is when we get into our businesses, we get disturbed by competition. Why? I see my neighbor has put these beautiful lights. I also need to put them in mine. I see my neighbor has 20 workers. I also need to show my business is solid. I need to hire more people. So you're taking in more expenses, or what we call overheads in business. Things that your business does not have the muscle to pay for, that are going to increase the amount of outflow. Yet your money is not that much. You're bringing in little, but you're spending more. Your cousin needs a job. You say, but my family can't be suffering when I have a business. You hire them. When you know your inflow or the amount of money you're making is not enough to pay that many people. Your business is too small. I need to hit my own border to do deliveries. You're taking on 4 million in debt because you want to show we are self-sustainable. You are not. You're causing more money to go out than more money coming in. And it is affecting many businesses here. You come, you also want to show you have you see it every day here. Where I live, these previous 6 months, there's a man who lifted a very good arcade. And in the previous 3 months, all the shops on the ground floor closed. They have opened them again for re-renting. People came in, they put very nice lights. But you're not making enough money for you to invest in that much. But cash flow for them does not make sense. So they make a decision to take out more than they're bringing in. Gone.
Regan, tell me. We are talking about cash flow, money in, money out.
Yes, please.
How about money coming in and I'm resisting it going out? And yet it must going out. And this includes things like not paying people who are
working for you.
Working for me, people who are supplying me and not paying. Is that a problem?
It's a problem. Why? For example, business is partnerships and relationships.
Yes.
And money services them.
Yes.
Definitely, if you receive a service or a product that they have paid for, you need to be able to service the people who have delivered it.
Absolutely.
Or serviced it for you. Because if you don't, you frustrate the relationship that will be bringing in more inputs for you or more revenue for you. Like your suppliers.
Yes.
Someone supplies you, for example, quantities of certain things.
Yes.
They're also depending on the money you're giving them to become their positive cash flow or their input in their business. If you don't bring that input in their business, they also don't function. You're technically killing their business. If you kill their business, you're also long-term killing your business because they're supplying you. If it's a border man, he can no longer deliver for you because it was a sura. You're not clients are not happy now. You have a ripple effect. So there is a line between you choosing to hold what you are making, which is it necessary for me to keep running business? Good, then pay it.
It's not realistic to hold the money in and somehow the money doesn't go out. Some money has to go out.
Some money has to go out. That is business.
Yes.
Money coming in, money coming out.
That's cash flow.
Cash flow. If you block it, there's no cash flow. You become just a hold of money. And business does not function on holding. It has to be moving somewhere because value comes from one place, goes to another place. As you're giving it to someone else, you're also giving it to another person.
And I see what you're saying then, that if the money is not going out, I'm accumulating debt.
You're accumulating, exactly.
And that thing is going
to grow, and eventually it causes the downfall of your business. There are many businesses that have not, I'll give you examples of supermarkets that have fallen because they're not paying their suppliers.
You're right.
You've seen them. Because people are supplying you these many things, you're making money, you're not paying them. Now they're not supplying you, you have no stock on the shelves. People stop coming to you, now there's no money.
It seems the money you are making then is going somewhere else and not going to where, it's not flowing.
Maybe there's a problem, you're now getting that money, using it for personal things, not paying people who are supposed to
Which is the cash flow problem.
Which is also a cash flow
diverting
problem.
the flow.
Very, very smart.
Okay, our final question. How do I basically avoid these dangers? Where do I start from? We have identified them.
Yes.
What is key in avoiding these dangers?
Yes, I'm going to re-echo some of these.
Yes.
Most importantly, for any business, if you're in this position, starting immediately, find a way to start tracking. If your business, you don't have these technical tools, get a black book. Get 2 black books, one for money coming in, one for money going in. At the end of the week, you can easily cross out and say, okay, this week I've made this much, I've spent this much. What is taking most of my money? How do I ensure I stay on the side that is positive? Do I reduce how much I'm spending on orders that I'm delivering? Do I need to deliver things at once so that I'm not spending more? That is most important. Number 2.
Take away before you go to number 2.
Yes, please.
It then means I am sending this border person, but I've not even computed that seemingly small money.
Because the small money add up. You know, mobile money agents make money on commissions.
Yes.
What you think is small money, by the end of the day, it adds up. Same with these small border delivery fees. You're saying, 2K, 3K, 4K. That 3-4K is salary for the border guy. For him, at the end of the day, he retires.
Everything, including your children asking money for break. Break.
Yes.
And you give them 2K. How do I basically avoid these dangers? Where do I start from? We have identified them.
Yes.
What is key in avoiding these dangers?
Yes, I'm going to re-echo some of these.
Yes.
Most importantly, for any business, if you're in this position, starting immediately, find a way to start tracking. If your business, you don't have these technical tools, get a black book. Get 2 black books, one for money coming in, one for money going in. At the end of the week, you can easily cross out and say, okay, this week I've made this much, I've spent this much. What is taking most of my money? How do I ensure I stay on the side that is positive? Do I reduce how much I'm spending on orders that I'm delivering? I have a personal account I'm not using, but spending more. That is most important. Number 2.
Take away.
Now I get confused. I say,
I am sending this border person, but I've not even computed that seemingly small money.
Because the small money also separate your personal money from your business money. Even when a temptation comes to say, allocate money to pay yourself. so that you don't get the temptation to use it.
Say that again.
Allocate money to pay yourself. Even if it's just 20,000, so that you get away from the temptation of picking money from your business. You say at least every day.
So let your payment to yourself be a part of the cost.
Be part of the cost instead of you just simply picking. No. Allocate maybe every day. I pay myself 20,000. That is all I'm entitled to in my business. Versus, it is my business. Kanguleka katogo.
A friend has come by, let's just buy them lunch.
Buy them juice. My sister is coming. No, she's not part of business expenses. Allocate certain money for yourself, you know.
And that makes me think, Regan, for example.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt there. If I'm doing, let me say, juice. As a juice is what I sell.
Yes.
If somebody comes in, a friend of mine, and I give them juice from the business, I need to account for it.
That means you're giving them stock. What we say you're eating is stock. It's what you're doing.
I need to account for it.
To account for it. So you perhaps assign it to your 20,000 to know part of my 20,000. I have given away this.
I donated this. Third reason, third point. As we wind up.
Third point. Only take up what your business can handle.
Say that again.
Only take up what your business can handle. Because I see us taking on expenses for the excitement of them. I need to have a car as a business. You don't need a car this time. A border can do for your business. Yeah. But you say, I need this expense. At the end of the day, if you do that, your output, your cash flow, the things that are taking money out of your business are going to increase. So understand, what does my business need at this time to keep functioning and being profitable? Yeah. If you assign those things, the rest are just the waste. Okay. Allow your business to go to that point, then invest in those things. Okay. You don't need 20 staff. 2 can do the job. You don't need to hire a big building. 1 small office can do. That way, you'll be able to stay on the positive side of cash flow. Okay, thank you so much, Regan. On time, on point. As a juice is what I sell. Yes. If somebody comes in, a friend of mine, and I give them juice from the business, I need to account for it. That means you're giving them stock. What we say you're eating is stock. It's what you're doing. This thing is called cash flow. Money in and money out. If assign it to your 20,000 to know part of my 20,000, I have given away this. I donated this. Third reason, third point. As we wind up. Third point. Only take up what your business can handle. Say that again. Only take up what your business can handle. Because I see us taking on expenses for the excitement of them. I need to have a car as a business. You don't need a car this time. A border can do for your business. Yeah. But you say, I need this expense. At the end of the day, if you do that, your output, your cash flow, the things that are taking money out of your business are going to increase. So understand, what does my business need at this time to keep functioning and being profitable? Yeah. If you assign those things.
Turning on your world.
Those things. Okay. You don't need 20 staff. 2 can do the job. You don't need to hire a big building. 1 small office can do. That way, you'll be able to stay on the positive side of cash flow. Okay, thank you so much, Regan. On time, on point. We try to synthesize and keep this on
fresh and sweet elegance.
Money out. If anything interrupts that, that's no longer cash flow. And you can also increase money out, and then the river dries because money in is less.
It's less.
I've learned that today. We hope we added value to you in this discussion. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Ntv, turning on your world.
Olusinethaga kawa kankuma ngandi mukakamu akasigaza ngandi mpya mukugumu kuliranga kamulembe okuyingira mu kiro akawanga okusinga okuwoowa ebbeeyi. New Downy Lavender Calm Sunrise Fresh and Sweet Elegance okudda obujjo obuleetera omuntu okwekkiririzaamu.
Kuba mwaka faananyi nga gwali eyo gwawangudde omwaka mulamba. essanyu lingi okubanga nawangudde school fees w'omwanange era nina essanyu okubanga sigenda sasula school fees n'omwaka omulambe era ne bazanya ba MTN Momo Katonda abongere omukisa.
As long as you pay school fees using Momo, you'll stand a chance to win school fees for a whole year. The school will stand a chance to win a school van. You can also get a school fees loan on Momo. The short code is *165*80# and you pay school fees and you win school fees for a year.
It's back, bigger, and with more business opportunities. It's the Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo, Poate 2026, Uganda's flagship tourism event. Poate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
Beautiful, soft care pads, so fit, so right.
NTV, turning on your world.
Many thanks for joining us here on NTV tonight. Thank you for joining us this Thursday. I am Sandra Kahumza, and joining me on the sign language is Maureen Nambalirwa. We're also coming to you live from a Serena Conference Center. Here is a quick look at the top stories tonight.
NTV Tonight, brought to you by
DFCU, going further together.
The National Resistance Movement's latest recruit, Yusuf Nsibambi, says the state is ready to release up to 80 opposition supporters arrested during the election period, but many remain skeptical.
Gives us details.
The High Court in Kampala rules that Mole Katanga has a case to answer in the murder of her husband, Henry Katanga, in November 2023, a decision that effectively keeps her in jail for now. Also on NTV Tonight,
we do not need to invite the president for everything. This is our work. What time does evening start? What time does the trader want to protect? Will it make sense?
Politicians come under attack for actively shielding street vendors in the city to serve their own interests. And
when they are stealing people's land, that's how they say. I am from the office of the president.
The RDC, his central role in the elections is to make sure that there is
The President's office announces that all resident district commissioners found to have been involved in election malpractice will be severely punished.
#240# anytime to pay bills, buy airtime, send money, load floats, manage cards, and even grab a loan of up to 5 million shillings. Welcome to DFCU Bank Kumapesa. Real banking convenience on your Mapesa phone.
DFCU, going further together.
This is NTV Tonight.
Thank you once again for joining us here on NTV Tonight. You're with me, Sandra Kahumza and Maureen Nambalirwa. Now, we do start with the National Resistance Movement's latest recruit, Yusuf Nsibambi, that says the state is ready to release up to 80 opposition supporters arrested during the election period. Speaking at a public forum hosted by the Uganda Law Society, Nsibambi accused some opposition parties of deliberately keeping their members behind bars by refusing to engage the government. Now, however, he maintains that the releases could proceed if political leaders choose dialogue over confrontation.
Dozens of opposition supporters remain behind bars across the country following their arrest before, during, and after the January 2026 elections. Some of these are members of the National Unity Platform and have since been arraigned in court on various charges. Despite efforts by the party's legal team to secure their release, a significant number remain incarcerated. Now, following his recent defection to the ruling National Resistance Movement, outgoing Mawokota South MP Yusuf Nsibambi says he has initiated talks aimed at securing the freedom of dozens of detained opposition supporters.
I've interacted with this man. He's not willing to let what he calls chaos and gangs and radicalism take over. Young men are in prison, and this is my last call and request.
Nsibambi accuses opposition leaders of maintaining a confrontational approach that he argues has slowed down efforts to negotiate their supporters' release.
Let us have these boys and girls, because they are young, not even women, go back and reflect on their lives. It can be compensation are rescued through the legal process. The rehabilitation is not necessary for them to go and have their kids, have food, Medicare, and new life.
He presented a list of 50 individuals, including Sauda Madada and Doreen Kaija of NUP, who he claims have agreed to a deal brokered between them and government. Madada and others are expected back in court tomorrow for further mentioning of their case.
If the regime has got any evidence, in 6 years, why have they not produced that evidence? So that's the issue of those other prisoners. They are saying, government, if you don't have any evidence to pin us, you free us, release us. Mr. Nsibambi just wants to give himself a bit of relevance to say he's the one who is pushing the plea bargaining issue. That's already a matter of law. Many people actually use it over numerous offenses. Forget about these political prisoners.
However, the acting chairperson of the Kampala City Traders Association, Issa Sechito, has cautioned those facing political charges against entering such arrangements, warning of possible long-term consequences.
It would be very peaceful if the people who were arrested are rescued through the legal process. If it is a politically negotiated position, they are victims the following day. Because they must confess before they get the amnesty, and that would be deadly for their political future. Thank you.
The state continues to prosecute dozens of opposition supporters, cases that critics describe as politically motivated. Walter Mwesije, NTV.
Thank you, Walter, for starting us off tonight, and it will be guiding our conversation tonight. So we do ask that you share with us your thoughts on the advice by the new NRM recruit, Yusuf Sivambi, calling on jailed NUP activists to confess to the charges leveled against them in order to secure amnesty and also freedom. Do go to our social media platforms, that is Facebook and also X, and send in your comments. Well, now, moving on, the First Lady, also the Education Minister, Janet Museveni, is tasking higher institutions of learning officials to prioritize leadership training alongside regular academic programs. She made these remarks while presiding over Makerere University's third day for the 76th graduation ceremony that has seen over 9,200 graduates awarded degrees and also diplomas.
Today, Makerere University conferred degrees to students drawn from the College of Business and Management Sciences. The graduates include those from the Makerere University Business Schools and Makerere Business School. He was injured in 2006. Education Minister Janet Museveni, who virtually presided over the event via Zoom, urged lecturers to prioritize leadership training alongside other academic programs.
As we celebrate these achievements today, I want to issue a challenge to our university, to policymakers, and to all national institutions. We must institutionalize values-based leadership across Uganda's higher education system. Programs like Emerging Leaders Program, a Safe Clubs membership initiatives, and values-based curricula must become the norm, not the exception. We need our universities to produce not just graduates with certificates, but servant leaders with a character, men and women worthy of trust, capable of ethical decision-making and committed to the common good.
Ronald Akampa is one of the graduates from the Nakawa-based Makerere Business School. He was injured in 2006 after a bad fall. However, he says his physical disability has not deterred him from completing his studies.
At first, I had the challenges. Like, sometimes you have classes, but you have to go to the hospital for checkup, maybe physiotherapy exercises. You find me, you are missing classes. But with time, I got used, I finished.
I'm grateful for this nation, Uganda, especially our leader, the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who thought it best to liberalize education. At my time, there was only Makerere University. At this time, I'm getting a master's. Now we have very many universities, over 70.
I am planning to ensure that I don't just stop here. My dream is to become an analyst, a police analyst, and this means that I'll have to go further with my education, specializing now in policy formulation and also planning.
Dorothy Nakato and Sarah Aloyo emerged best students in humanities, earning their bachelors in procurement and supply chain management.
A lot of hard work. You have to endure a lot of things. You go through a lot of challenges, but you always have to have a strategy. That's what I've been leaning on.
I had challenges with tuition, but one of my colleagues paid my functional fees. That's Muyanja Aida. May the Lord bless her so much for me.
Tomorrow is the final day for this year's graduation ceremony, and the event will be crowned with the conferment of degrees to graduates from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, College of Engineering, Design and Technology, Institute of Gender and Development Studies, and those from Makerere Institute of Social Research. Juliet Nalwoga, NTV.
Congratulations to all the graduates. Very happy to see our very own Rashul Adidi celebrating his graduation as well. We do celebrate with you. Now, moving on tonight, the High Court in Kampala has ruled that Mole Katanga has a case to answer in the death of her husband, Henry Katanga. In November 2023, in her ruling, Justice Rosette Comfort Kanye ruled that Mole Katanga is required to explain the circumstances under which the deceased met his death, since he was last seen in her company on the 2nd of November 2023 at their home at Mbuya Hill, a suburb in Kampala's Nakawa division. In addition, the late Katanga's two daughters, Patricia Kakwanza and Martha Nkwanzi, as well as the house help George Amanyere and Charles Otai, a nursing officer, have a case to answer in the same case. The ruling came during a hearing in the High Court today. Mole Katanga is facing murder charges while her daughters are being held as accessories to the murder. The prosecution alleges that Mole Katanga fatally shot her husband, and together with her daughters Patricia and Martha, as well as the house help George Amanyere and Otai, attempted to cover it up.
Okuva ddala mu July ng'ennaku z'omwezi 12 omwaka 2024 ekitongole ekiramuzi
We do apologize for that technical glitch, but we'll definitely be bringing this story shortly. Now, the Supreme Court has allowed the withdrawal of a presidential election petition challenging President Museveni's electoral victory, with the majority of justices ordering each party to bear their own costs as a way of healing process. The ruling now paves the way for President-elect Museveni to be sworn in May this year for his 7th elective 5-year term.
Which majority of the justices, however, declined to award the costs, reasoning that in the particular circumstances of the withdrawal and bearing in mind the unique constitutional character of a presidential election petition, it was unnecessary to impose financial consequences on the petitioner.
It is imperative to foster the healing process to enable the public close that chapter and move on with their life. The condemnation of the applicant with payment of costs would impede the healing process, which the people of Uganda honestly crave for in the aftermath of the presidential election.
In a separate minority opinion, Justice Christopher Madrama disagreed with the minority approach on costs. He held that departing from established principles governing the withdrawal of presidential petitions risked unsettling settled laws.
The majority has determined that each party should bear its own cost. I find this to be a departure from the clear mandate of Parliament. My dissent is based on the literal, purposive and systemic construction of the law as it pertains to the withdrawal of a presidential petition.
By majority decision, Madrama, Justice of the Supreme Court, dissenting, each party shall bear its costs of the petition and the application arising therefrom, including the current application. It is so ordered.
David Ijo, NTV at the Supreme Court.
From the Supreme Court to now traders in Kampala that have accused politicians of actively shielding street vendors in the city to serve their own interests. The trading community maintained their support for the Kampala Capital City Authority, the decision to remove the vendors, saying that the move has helped reduce the congestion and improved security in the city. However, the traders are calling on the government to address challenges facing those operating in the arcades.
Last week, the Kampala Capital City Authority, working alongside security personnel,
It is a departure from the clear mandate of Parliament. My dissent is based on the literal, purposive and systemic construction of the law as it pertains to the withdrawal of a presidential petition.
by majority decision, Madrama, Justice of the Supreme Court dissenting, each party shall bear its costs of the petition and the application arising from including the current application. It is so ordered.
David Ijo, NTV at the Supreme Court.
From the Supreme Court to now traders in Kampala that have accused politicians of actively shielding street vendors in the city to serve their own interests. The trading community maintained their support for the Kampala Capital City Authority, the decision to remove the vendors, saying that the move has helped reduce the congestion and improved security in the city. However, the traders are calling on the government to address challenges facing those operating in the arcades.
Last week, the Kampala Capital City Authority, working alongside security personnel, carried out an operation to evict vendors from the city streets. The exercise was intended to restore proper trade order. Following the eviction order, KCCA directed the affected vendors to relocate to designated stalls within the various markets. Today, several city leaders, including Kampala Central Division Mayor Salim Uhuru, Issa Sechito of the Kampala City Traders Association, Thaddeus Nagenda Musoke and Daniel Nuwabine of KCCA, met with traders and Uganda Law Society members to deliberate on matters concerning street vending in the city.
Let us think about the moving markets. Everybody of us grew up knowing the Butaliwa Mibulu, some of us who grew up in the villages. In Kampala, we have over 10 markets as moving markets throughout the week. And if you are serious as a vendor, you can be working for the rest of the days, including Sunday.
Issa Sechito, who is acting Kasita chairperson, said the continued presence of vendors on verandas has largely been fueled by the politicization of vendor-related issues.
And that has been the Lord Mayor for 15 years. Whenever you talk about vendors to go to the right places, he says, where should they go? You ask him, what have you done for 15 years for them to be placed? He would say, we are planning. We don't know how many years he would need to plan as the Lord Mayor of the city, the champion of rule of law, who only thinks that rule of law works everywhere, but not with the street vending.
He argued that while those operating in the arcades meet multiple tax obligations, many street vendors have been operating without contributing similar dues.
It was overdue that traders in the arcades who are young children who have finished school but have not yet formally been employed, we contributed capital in small amounts so that they could share the shops. 2 or 3 paying 3-4 million per month to operate in an arcade, and unfortunately the people who are within the arcades could not access buyers. Can we lobby to find possible interventions from the government? Like currently, when we are engaging with my board executives, we discovered that the president had made interventions to the saloon owners, mechanics. So why can't the government institute a special, because of what comes out of vendor activities? So we must protect public health and sanitation of the city.
He added that proposals to allow vendors to operate during specific hours or designated days are still under discussion and no final decision has yet been reached. Mildred Bedun, NTV Tonight.
Thank you, Mildred. Now, as we start the second week of this Lent season, Father Frederick Kasereka explains the essence of the teaching of the Catholic faith.
I welcome you back, our dear viewers, and I want to share with you this message of Lent. Now, who are the catechumens? In this period of Lent, the Catholic priests, brothers, sisters, catechists, we and bishops as well, we are all called upon to focus and bring new followers of Christ in this in his church. Now, who are the catechumens? The catechumens, these are the people who want to join the Catholic Church in our community, in our different communities, and in our societies. So, during this period of time, priests, catechists focus on looking for those people who want to come back and join this noble Catholic Church. So what we do is to teach them. And when we teach them, we tell them everything about Christ. We preach that they are convinced and that they may love the Savior. And later, on Holy Saturday, they receive the 3 sacraments. That is baptism, confirmation, and Holy Eucharist. They receive these sacraments at once. Now, catechumens are always mature. I welcome you back, our dear viewers, and I want to share with you this message of Lent. Now, who are the catechumens? In this period of Lent, the Catholic priests, brothers, sisters, catechists, we and bishops as well, we are all called upon to focus and bring new followers of Christ in this in his church. Now, who are the catechumens? The catechumens, these are the people who want to join the Catholic Church in our community, in our different communities, and in our societies. So, during this period of time, priests, catechists focus on looking for those people who want to come back and join this noble Catholic Church. So what we do is to teach them. And when we teach them, we tell them everything about Christ. We preach that they are convinced and that they may love the Savior. And later, on Holy Saturday, they receive the 3 sacraments. That is baptism, confirmation, and Holy Eucharist. They receive these sacraments at once. Now, catechumens are always mature or old people. They're not young. You know, we always baptize young children. But catechumens, these are people who are always above 18 who never got a chance of receiving and studying this religion. So during this period of Lent, we focus more on those ones so that we can look for them wherever they are and they come back and join the church.
Well, that story will take us in for a short break, but just to remind you of our poll question tonight, we did ask that you share with us your thoughts on the advice by the new NRM recruit, Yusuf Nsibambi, calling
Mapesa with DFCU. Your phone is your bank. No queues, no forms, just banking. Anywhere, anytime. Here's how you get started. Step 1, dial *240#. Step 2, select language. Step 3, accept registration. Step 4, account terms and conditions. Step 5, enter account number. Step 6, enter NIN for Ugandans or passport number for international. Step 7, answer security question. Now, dial *240# anytime to pay bills, buy airtime, send money, load floats, manage cards, and even grab a loan of up to 5 million shillings. Welcome to DFCU Bank Kumapesa. Real banking convenience on your Mapesa phone.
DFCU, going further together.
Mothers of Africa.
Mama, will I ever be the best daughter in Uganda?
Well, you've got to be like a geisha bar. Staying strong and go on so far. Never give up till you reach your goal.
Okay, Mama. I'll be strong and go so far. Lasting long like this geisha bar.
Strong and last long.
Like geisha.
Get the new Always #1 Skin Hygiene Protection, giving you a heavy flow 3 times better protection. Available in stores near you now at 2,500 shillings.
You've read the headlines. Girls dropping out of school, lost futures. But what if we could turn all that into a story only they could tell?
A
Action! These are girls supported by the European Union. This project helps keep them in school. It's giving them the foundations they need to change their world.
Together, Tukola, built by Ugandans, backed by the European Union.
You got Glovo. You got Glovo.
If you're having a celebration,
you got Glovo.
You can order what you want. You can get what you need.
You got Glovo.
You got it all.
You got Glovo.
Download the app. Order with Glovo. Track it minute by minute until you receive it in minutes.
Sometimes dirt can give us something back. That's why I use new Omo. With naturally derived stain removers, it penetrates deep to reach the toughest stains for unbeatable stain removal.
This is NTV Tonight.
Welcome back. Glad to know you're still with us here on NTV Tonight. You're still with me, Sandra Kahomza. Now, the Permanent Secretary of the President's Office, Yunusu Kakande, says they will punish any resident district commissioner found to have been involved in election malpractice. Kakande's assurance came as he appeared before the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament to discuss the Auditor General's report for the financial year 2024-2025. Now, during this meeting, legislators on the committee accused RDCs of usurping the Electoral Commission's powers by determining who should be declared winner in the elections. Jima Kiria reports.
The Parliamentary Accountability Committee PAC today played host to officials from the President's Office, led by the Permanent Secretary Yunusu Kakande. The committee is now chaired by the Vice Chairperson, Goreth Namuga. The meeting was called to scrutinize the Auditor General's report for the financial year 2024-2025. However, members of Parliament first put Kakande to task to explain the responsibilities of RDCs in an election.
Mr. Museveni is the President of the Republic of Uganda and is a president for every one of us, you see? So this is not about politics, but I kindly request that you pick keen interest in the conduct of the RDCs in the entire country.
The president has directed. Those are the language they use.
Yeah, yes.
When they are stealing people's land, that's how they say. I am from the office of the president.
The RDC, his central role in the elections is to make sure that there is security for all participants, irrespective whether they are in opposition, whether they are in NRA.
At this point, they accused the RDCs of overstepping their mandate in the recently concluded elections. The MPs alleged that the RDCs even ordered electoral officials to declare electoral winners different from the actual victors.
So you ordered the vehicle of the RDCs, number plates plucked off, being used in elections. So, Haji, we cannot compromise governance.
He messed up everything, even after warnings from his senior. He did the worst mess.
During the polling day, I had a lot of evidence that I'm the winner. She came at the tallying center. She ordered the returning officer to declare the NRM candidate.
That the one who is winning, they don't want to declare him. I said that who was that one? They told me that Mr. Samba was winning with 200 votes. I told the RDC in my words that if Mr. Samba is winning, what is the problem? You tell the returning officer to declare the candidate who has won.
MP Namuga later claimed that all the electoral malpractices in Sembabule district have been blamed on the area RDC.
And And even in the local councils, you saw that shooting that was in Sembabule. For you, how did you observe that? In local council elections, the shooting, bullets everywhere, and you say we should wait for that woman. So I want to tell you, Sembabule is on fire.
For example, the other district guy of Sembabule and deputy, we invited them. What happened in the district? Why did you lose control of the district? And they gave us the reasons why they gave control of the district, where they could not manage the security itself to manage it.
Kakande said some of the RDCs had already been punished and others would be investigated and those found guilty transferred.
I have already even interdicted some. I have interdicted another DC of Chibuku called Cheyune. He went and he really mishandled the elections. I rang him, he refused to take heed. And after a week, I called him to headquarters and I interdicted him. He's on interdiction now.
Kakande later claimed that the Electoral Commission also has its weaknesses in the administration of the polls.
Parts of the country, other than RDCs intermediating, like in Mvuma, where they went and intermediate into with election officers. I think to that one, Chair and members, I would take it to the weakness of the Electoral Commission. Why should the returning officer allow RDC to tell him that you declare so and so?
Directives.
Directly.
The MPs also want the education of some of the RDCs to be looked at, as some are so low that they cannot represent the president. According to Article 203 of the Constitution, the RDC is tasked to advise the district chairperson on matters of national nature that may affect the district or its plans and programs. This particularly refers to relations between the district and the government and to carry out in such other functions as may be assigned by the president or prescribed by parliament. Juma Kiria, NTV.
The Minister of Finance.
Well, there are fears that the shooting of Willie Ngoma, a spokesperson for the M23 rebels fighting in eastern Congo, could end any prospect of peace by ending the ceasefire that has been holding for several weeks now. Ngoma, a senior officer who was deeply involved in the M23 operations, was said to have been killed in a pre-dawn drone strike in the North Kivu province's mining town of Rubaya that left 9 people dead. The strike came weeks after Congo and the M23 rebels agreed to a ceasefire and methods of monitoring it with the help from the UN mission in Congo. However, the M23 have maintained silence as observers study this situation.
The situation in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo remains tense but calm a day after Congolese forces blew up a vehicle carrying Willie Ngoma, a spokesperson for the M23 rebels fighting in Eastern Congo, leaving 9 people dead. The attack happened near Rubaya in North Kivu at around 3 a.m. and came after several days of sustained drone attacks on the area by the Congolese army. The M23's leader, Sultan Makenga, who survived unhurt, was thought to be in the vicinity when the attack happened. However, he is yet to issue a formal statement on what happens after this. The killing of Ngoma comes as Qatar-mediated ceasefire efforts continue, with Kinshasa and M23 having signed agreements in Doha to establish a joint ceasefire monitoring and verification mechanism with Qatar, the United States, and the African Union as observers. For his part, Ngoma had been under European Union sanctions since December 2022 for his role as the M23 spokesperson. In the meantime, the M23 administration has opened its border with Burundi to allow in thousands of refugees who had fled the country since the end of last year. Dozens of people crossed the border between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi after authorities reopened the main frontier linking Uvira with Gatumba, ending more than 2 months of closure caused by fighting in eastern Congo. Migration officials were seen resuming checks on the Congolese side as families, traders and displaced residents streamed across the crossing. The reopening of the Kamvimvira border marks a key step toward restoring trade and daily life in a region disrupted by conflict and displacement.
Let us now also look at how Muslims should purify their hearts in this season as they reflect on their faith. Hear more from Sheikh Muhammad Abduweli of the Tawheed Mosque.
For his part, Goma had been under European Union sanctions since December 2022 for Israel as the M23 spokesperson. In the meantime, the M23 administration has opened its border with Burundi to allow in thousands of refugees who had fled the country since the end of last year. Dozens of people crossed the border between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Burundi after authorities reopened the main frontier linking Uvira with Gatumba, ending more than 2 months of closure caused by fighting in eastern Congo. Migration officials were seen resuming checks on the Congolese side as families, traders and displaced residents streamed across the crossing. The reopening of the Kamvimvira border marks a key step toward restoring trade and daily life in a region disrupted by conflict and displacement.
Let us now also look at how Muslims should purify their hearts in this season as they reflect on their faith. Hear more from Sheikh Muhammad Abduweli of the Tawheed Mosque.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ramadan is a school of the heart. Ramadan is often seen as a month of hunger and fast, as Muslims are not eating from dawn to sunset. Yet its true purpose lies deeper. It's a school where the heart learns discipline, where desire bows before purpose, and where the soul rediscovers its creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we fast, we step away from excess and walk toward awareness. We begin to notice what truly matters: ash-shukr, gratitude, ar-rahmah, compassion, and presence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ. Fasting is prescribed for you the way it was prescribed for those who came before you. And the reason is that you may attain mindfulness, to be mindful, to be aware that you are here, a human being, and tomorrow you're going in front of your Lord. May Allah accept our fasting, and may we be among those who fast and be mindful of our Creator God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Today is a good day to draw up a new play. So start something. Make your move and get in your groove. Do it for the gram. Do it for the culture. Be loud. Be extra. Be a thinker. A life eater. A Tusker light drinker. Start something. Turn on your lights. Tusker lights.
Start something new. Something uplifting. Something so effortless and golden. A thirst-quenching burst of sweetness and...
This is NTV Tonight.
Memories. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Try it. Savor it. Feel it elevate every moment. Sip after sip, gulp after gulp. After all, life's about turning ordinary thrills into golden chills.
Start something malty with the new Evervest Malt Apple and Pineapple. Try the burst of sweetness and malty flavor. It's 100% taste, 0 alcohol. Available in a shop or supermarket near you. Evervest Malt. Make every moment golden. Evervest Malt is from the makers of Pepsi Cola in Uganda.
This is my brother Miracle. Even his rivals love him.
Has magical skills. Has 2 has 3. Yes.
He brings the games to life.
My
My brother might be blind, but for him, football is not just about what we see, but what we feel.
For projects in the priority sectors of the economy, notably the ATMs. This line of financing is very cardinal to our quest to raise funding for transformative projects that will be able to deepen industrialization.
Welcome back. Talking some business now. The Uganda Development Bank has partnered with the French Development Agency to strengthen UDB's mandate of providing long-term patient capital to priority sectors of the economy such as agro-processing and manufacturing. The partnership will be implemented through an initial 40 million euro credit, that's about 169 billion, complemented by 800,000 euros, that's about 3.4 billion Ugandan shillings, in technical assistance to the bank.
The line of credit is able to, it enables the bank to deliver the much needed concessional capital for projects in the priority sectors of the economy, notably the ATMs. This line of financing is very cardinal to our quest to raise funding for transformative projects that will be able to deepen industrialization, that will be able to create jobs, to advance infrastructure, to mitigate climate risks. We expect to start drawing down this financing soon.
The purpose of this partnership could be also summarized in saying that we are willing together to support the transition towards a low-carbon economy facing climate change challenges. And this is, of course, an issue that are facing all the countries in the world. And through this partnership, we're going to support UDB in lending to agriculture, to agro-businesses, and developing climate-smart agriculture.
So this project is really key, looking at that. UDB will benefit from 40 million euros credit facilities that will be disbursed in UGX, so in shilling, in Ugandan shilling, and as well as a technical support, an expertise shared by IFAD to sustain the capabilities of the companies to face the effect of the climate change and reduce the gas emission.
Well, for years, the savings, salaries and small business payments of thousands of Ugandans were processed and stored outside the country. This was beyond the immediate reach of local regulators, raising concerns about data exposure, cyber threats and delayed response in the event of cross-border disruptions. Now, following Bank of Uganda's directive on data, some banks are shifting data locations, which underscores how critical and sensitive customer bank data has become in a digital economy.
Beyond compliance, regulators warn that where bank data is stored can determine how fast transactions are processed and how well the system withstands cyber attack or technical shock. By requiring local data hosting, the Bank of Uganda says it's tightening oversight, reducing cross-border vulnerabilities and strengthening disaster recovery at a time when most banks are aligning with stricter data residence rules to safeguard public confidence in the financial system.
This bank has been having its data center or data requirements outsourced from Nairobi. Now, when something's outside your boundaries, you may not have much control. By coming to this center, Axio Center, to locate it here in Uganda and particularly in Namamve, is enhancing the ownership of this data and therefore increases our sovereignty we have on our data. Issues of cyber security risks are becoming common But the challenge is now with all players to make sure that they have in place systems that are aimed at mitigating the risks against cyber security.
When you have data processing in country, it means you process data faster. When you have data in country, it means that our teams have more control. It means that we can innovate faster. All investors want to work with somebody who's compliant. And this is one regulation that has taken us a couple of years to really comply with.
As digital banking grows across Africa, experts warn that systems must be reliable. Keeping critical data and infrastructure local strengthens oversight, builds customer trust, and ensures Uganda's financial network can withstand shocks while staying connected to the global platforms.
As your life is now evolving into payments, mobile platforms, analytics, fraud prevention, customer service, you now need infrastructure that reliably works in the background. And increasingly, also with the support of regulators, etc., now that infrastructure needs to be local. And this is where the infrastructure and the sovereignty now comes together. And keeping critical financial workloads and data within national borders is not just a regulatory checkbox.
As Uganda races toward a fully digital economy, regulators stress that stability now hinges on secure local data as much as money in the vault. Betty Ndagire, NTV Business.
Thank you, Betty. Kampala is generating more waste than it can sustainably manage. The city produces between 2,000 and 2,500 tons of garbage every single day. Yet only about 1,300 to 1,500 tons are safely collected and disposed of. Now, Kampala Capital City Authority is warning that traditional dumping is no longer sustainable. Now, speaking at the launch of a new waste-to-energy facility in Nsambya by Home Clean Uganda Limited, KCCA Executive Director Sharifa Mzeki described the project as a turning point in the city's fight against unmanaged waste.
After the tragic collapse at the Chitezi landfill shook Kampala and exposed the dangers of relying on dumping grounds, Kampala Capital City Authority is moving to change course. After many years of planning, the authority is now supporting a shift away from traditional dumping towards more sustainable waste-to-energy solutions with the launch of a biogas production and packaging facility. Officials say the move signals a new chapter, one where garbage is no longer just a growing problem, but a potential source of clean, renewable energy for the city.
It is going to significantly help in diverting waste from the landfill. The volumes of waste which would have gone to Buyala facility are now going to where this plant is so that they are transformed into energy, which is biogas. Biogas has a number of benefits. We can use it for lighting, we can use it for cooking, we can even use it in our automobiles. So it will subsidize the government expense on energy, and it will also provide an alternative for lighting in the event that we don't have umeme. It will also provide an alternative for cooking. Because if we have very many players in cooking gas, the price will also go low. But on the part of waste, it is going to help us to turn waste into value. We've been telling people that for us as KCCA, we see value in waste, and we are telling everyone to seize the opportunity. Home Clean has seized it, let other partners follow.
Kampala Capital City Authority is now calling on more private sector players to invest in waste solutions, warning that the city's landfill infrastructure is already under immense pressure. Officials say any intervention that diverts waste away from dumping sites is urgently needed. At the same time, residents are being urged to begin sorting their garbage at source, especially since nearly 75% of Kampala's waste is organic.
We want sorted garbage. If you sort it very well, we shall not charge you money. You bring garbage, sorted, clean, and dump it at our facility. We shall not charge you any money. But if you don't sort, we shall charge you money. So I encourage Ugandans, Mana Kampala, please, mutuyambe, changing the mindset, begin sorting your garbage.
Ran Habwe, NTV Business.
conclude this business segment, let us look at the financial report.
Money markets.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. There's just something different, something unspoken, something intense, an allure so bold, a quest so rich. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Tusker Malt Lager, 100% malt, now in a distinctive new look.
This is NTV Tonight.
Let us speak some sports now, and we do start with Maroons Football Club that advanced to the round of 16 of the Uganda Cup after defeating Kumi United 1-0 in Luzira. Neman Odipio scored the lone goal in the 56th minute.
Derek Ogwang now stolen away. Here goes Chiwanuka. Rogers Chiwanuka, space to his advantage, uses his body well. Good cross, and the trap over the bar from Marvin Rashosh. Actually, finally, Olum, there's a problem between the two. Rashosh Shaba, he calls! Oh, what a save! Give the goalkeeper his flowers. Joseph Rogers Ikune, what a save again! Rashosh Shaba, pinpoint, but good save by Ikune. Odipio, that's a very good pass now. Obua flips it into the box. It is cut back. Controlled by Kafuma, lays it down, Odipio!
In this event came as a chance, I can tell you, and it came at the right time. As you know, we had just acquired our new car, which was one of the requirements for the event.
For Ntambi and his co-driver, Asuman Mohammed, the Safari Rally presents a rare chance to test themselves against the world's elite, while proudly flying Uganda's flag on one of rallying's toughest and most unpredictable terrains. Ntambi is a former Clubman Rally Championship contender and two-wheel drive champion. This year, he returns to the Safari Rally, not as a spectator, but as a fully fledged competitor determined to make his mark mark on the international stage.
We shall cross to Nairobi over the weekend to try and do some practice runs in preparation for the event.
Ntambi will be joined by fellow Ugandan drivers Duncan Mubiru, Timothy Gawaya and Yasin Nasser as they take on the demanding Kenyan stages in pursuit of regional pride and global recognition. Yasin Nasser, who is the current Africa Rally champion, says his main objective as he heads to his third Safari Rally appearance is to be able to finish the event.
Whatever the position you may reach, but the most important thing is to finish. So basically our target is still the same, that we go drive as much as we are competing with others, but the main target is to finish and bring the car back home safe.
This year's Safari Rally, which will take place in Naivasha, will be the third event on the World Rally Championship calendar. Noah Walakira, NTV Sport.
Well, now the Uganda Zukani Association has embarked on qualifying their young fighters for the 2026 Youth Olympics due in Senegal from the 22nd October to the 9th of November. A team of 2 Zukani athletes completed a training assessment camp in Egypt and are now looking forward to another in either Italy or China ahead of the Youth Olympics.
They are still young. They are 14 years, very young. So
we learned many things. In Egypt, we had a training camp and our coach helped us as we performed well. And we ensure that we will perform and we will compete as well as we did in Egypt. And we promise people that we will bring medals in our country when we go to Senegal.
I can confirm that I'm not pulling ropes with the government. We are not pulling ropes with the government or the National Council of Sports. We are following all the rules. What they are saying, at least we do this. And I'm sure by March, next month, we will be going to Guru, at least to widen the sport. Because the council is complaining, all the officers in the council are complaining that the sports are here in the central. I have confirmed with the chairman of Guru. We are going to have a seminar and a training camp there, maybe 3 days there. We will give.
Well, let us now look at some of your thoughts on our poll question. We did ask you much earlier to share with us your thoughts on the advice by the new NRM recruit, Yusuf Nsibambi, calling on jailed NUP activists to confess to the charges leveled against them in order to secure amnesty and also freedom. Diving into your thoughts, I want to start with Brian, that says here on Twitter that freedom is a right for all. Japheth says still here on X that whether his advice is seen as practical or insensitive largely depends on one's political lens, but it does undeniably highlight the deep mistrust and polarization currently shaping Uganda's political environment. Now, Patrico Oyama says here on Facebook or X, I can't seem to capture that, but he says that this is being inhumane. Their dignity is worth more than the rotting millions he has received for being a wolf in sheepskin. A wolf cannot advise sheep to confess to another wolf. The political prisoners should cling to their dignity, not yield to impunity. We pray for them to be courageous. One day we shall overcome. Well, all these are your thoughts here on our poll question tonight. We're glad that you could participate in it. We do ask that you continue to ask you much earlier to share with us your thoughts on the advice by the new NRM recruit, Yusuf Nsibambi, calling on jailed NUP activists to confess to the charges leveled against them in order to secure amnesty and also freedom. Diving into your thoughts, I want to start with Brian, that says here on Twitter that freedom is a right for all. Japheth says still here on X that whether his advice is seen as practical or insensitive largely depends on one's political lens, but it does undeniably highlight the deep mistrust and polarization currently shaping Uganda's political environment. Now, Patrico Oyema says here on Facebook or X, I can't seem to capture that, but he says that this is being inhumane. Their dignity is worth more than the rotting millions he has received for being a wolf in sheepskin. A wolf cannot advise sheep to confess to another wolf. The political prisoners should cling to their dignity, not yield to impunity. We pray for them to be courageous. One day we shall overcome. Well, all these are your thoughts here on our poll question tonight. We're glad that you could participate in it. We do ask that you continue sending in your views on our social media platforms. And it does, in fact, bring us to the very end of NTV Tonight this week. We do want to say thank you. And if you missed any of the stories that aired here this week, please do go to our social media platforms, X and Facebook, and also on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch all the